Namaskar. I am Dr. Aarti Chaudhary, Assistant Professor in the Department of Ancient Indian History, Culture and Archaeology at Basant Kanya Mahavidyalaya, Banaras Hindu University. I welcome you once again in this 12-week course titled History of Science and Technology in Ancient India from Harappan Civilization to 7th century CE. Today we are going to discuss Module 12 and Lecture 3. The title of Module 12 is Other Scientific Insights in Ancient India and Archaeological Methods, and the title of Lecture 3 is Archaeo Materials Works in Ancient India. At first, we discuss the learning objective of this topic. So, the first learning objective is to identify and describe the various materials used in ancient Indian archaeological sites and their cultural significance. The second learning objective is to analyze the techniques and technologies employed by ancient Indian civilization in the production and use of material artifacts. And the third learning objective is to evaluate the role of archaeomaterials studies in reconstructing the socio-economic status of ancient India. So, in this particular lecture, we are going to discuss about different subtopic, which is use of stone and gemstones in Harappan art and trade, Buddhist relic cascades insight from Piprahwa and Bhattiprolu excavations, mortar, plaster and pigments, metalworking techniques and crafting of household objects and ornaments in ancient India, metals and alloys in icons. The study of ancient Indian art is greatly enriched by archaeomaterial research, which examines the materials, techniques and technology used by artisans of the past. By analyzing sculpture, paintings, jewelry, pottery and architectural elements, archaeomaterial studies reveal insight into raw materials, selection, production methods, trade network and cultural values. In India, where artistic tradition stretch across thousands of years, such investigations have uncovered remarkable knowledge system from the use of stone, terracotta and metal to advanced pigment preparation, casting and inlay techniques. Scientific analysis such as microscopy and spectroscopy now complement traditional art historical approaches, helping to reconstruct the technological and socio-economic context of artistic production. As Alchin and Alchin noted about Harappan art, the boundary between the field of craft and technology and that of art is never very distinct and constantly overlap. Archaeomaterial studies thus bridge science and the humanities, offering a richer and more integrated understanding of India's artistic and material heritage. So, in this topic we are going to discuss about the different material used by the ancient people throughout the ages and what kind of scientific practices regarding this they already done, and these kind of scientific practices is also very important in terms to understand, in terms to reconstruct the whole history of the previous years. So, at first use of stone and gemstone in Harappan art and trade. The Harappa civilization is one of the sophisticated civilization in the entire world, and this civilization gives plethora of information regarding the metallurgy, regarding the trade and commerce, regarding the sophistication in town planning, bricks making, their weight and measurement. They have abundance of evidences regarding the science and technology. So, they are also very important and they should be studied again and again in term to understand their whole scientific evolution. So, we start from the Harappan civilization here. First one is stone sculpture. The sculpture primarily made of statite, limestone and alabaster, which are relatively soft material, have survived in fragmentary forms. These material were likely chosen for their accessibility and workability, even though their softness made them prone to damage over time. Notable sculptures: Harappan priest. The notable priests include a 19 centimeter limestone head with a beard face and shouldered from the decay area at Mohenjo-daro. Inlay: these sculptures often feature inlays, particularly in the eyes and for decorations, adding more lifelike qualities of the to the figures. Now, the Harappan masterpiece. The 9.3 centimeter nude male torso made of red sandstone is considered a masterpiece, particularly noted for its realistic and refined modeling. You can see it in the figure. The dancing male figure made of grey stone. The figure shows a male dancer standing on his right leg with his body bent left, arm extended in the same direction and left leg raised. Despite soft counter, it appears epiphallic with the phallus made separately. The thick neck suggests it may depict a three-headed or three-faced figure, like representing the youthful Shiva Nataraj according to Marshall. Now, beads and gems. The use of a wide variety of stone beads and gems for art, object and trade highlight the complex material culture of the Harappan and post-Harappan Chalcolithic culture. The use and export of these items further demonstrate the extensive trade network of the Harappan had. This picture of the Harappan Sikh, the priest and the male torso. Now, the Buddhist relic cascades insight from Piprahwa and Bhattiprolu excavation. Piprahwa relic cascade from Uttar Pradesh, excavated from a sandstone coffer in Piprahwa, Uttar Pradesh. These relic cascades are believed to contain the remains of Buddha dating to the 5th-4th century BCE. The K artifacts, which is crystal cascade, a polished cascade measuring 11.5 centimeter in diameter and 100.5 centimeter in height, with a handle designed as a hollow fish embellished with 7 gold band featuring gold granulates, 6 petaled flower and circular gold frames. Additional item: a gold disc with copper spiral, carnelian and malachite bud, semi-precious stone and chariot bone believed to be Buddha's relic. Historical and artistic significance: the cascade reflect the artistic splendor of ancient India, showcasing exceptional craftsmanship in gold, crystal and statite, and providing a glimpse into early Buddhist reverence for relics. So, we can see in the pictures the Piprahwa relic cascade, their shape, their design, the design of the different pot. You can see the cascade what we found from the Piprahava, and findings at Bhattiprolu 2nd century BC. The location of Bhattiprolu site near Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. Artifact discovered from this site is 164 gold flowers, rolled silver strip, 24 silver coin, beads and pearls, crystal casket, beryl reliquary. Religious significance of this site is the presence of Buddha's bone among the relic highlights the site's importance as a Buddhist burial or memorial location. A few other examples: the world famous Ashokan pillar made from Chunar sandstone with their chiseled finish and inscription, along with the polished sandstone Ashok Vajrasan at Bodh Gaya, are lasting example of Ashokan art. Stoop attributed to Ashok at Sarnath and Takshashila include discoveries such as a sandstone box at Sarnath containing a green marble relic casket with bone, decayed pearl and gold leaves. Now, the example of mortar, plaster and pigments. So, what kind of scientific data is related with this particular mortar or plaster technique? We can see with the example, and these elements are important in order to understand the architectural value of architectural scientific development of the contemporary period. In ancient India, mortars made from gypsum, lime, clay and sand were commonly used for joining bricks and preparing wall plasters. India has a rich tradition of wall painting stretching back over 2000 years. Early examples include prehistoric cave painting at sites like Panchmarhi and Mirzapur. Apart from prehistoric cave painting, the Jogimara caves of Ramgarh Hill 2nd century BC offer the earliest historical example, while the Ajanta murals dated between the 2nd century BC and 2nd century AD represent a major artistic advancement. The Vishnu Dharmottar Puran 4th-5th century AD provides the earliest textual instruction for preparing paints and plaster before wall painting. It recommends using lime as the main components of plaster combined with organic binders such as gugulo, gum of Boswellia serrata, madhuchista, beeswax and Gouda, molasses and similar substance. Lime was often mixed with clay or sand for better application. Later, the Abhilasi Tirth Chintamani by King Someshwar 12th century AD prescribed the use of a vajralep, a binding paste made from lime, white clay and a bright white mineral called naga from the Nilgiri hills, Aeolian, smeared with oil or plant derived gum to prepare surface before painting. Lime and gypsum were commonly used in whitewashing, plaster and mortar. Similar to Egypt, gypsum was combined with lime in Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. The plaster of the Lingaraj temple with 3.12% magnesium oxide suggests the use of dolomitic limestone after calcination. Although small amount of sulfur trioxide are also present, there is no significant gypsum in the sample. Gypsum used in places like Egypt, Mohenjo-daro, Harappa was locally available. Garola analyzed the red paints on temples and found on organic matter. The red paint was a simple mixture of local hematitic ochre and clay to achieve the desired color. The red paint from the Mukteshwar temple contained 36.42% ferric oxide and 40.97% sand and clay. The Vishnu Dharmottar Puran mention various pigments used in statue and murals, including gold, silver, copper, mica, ultramarine, red lead, lac vermilion, orpiment and indigo. These were likely fixed using tannin complexes for durability. Now, pigments endorsed by Abhilasi Tirth Chintamani. The text recommended the use of pulverized gold, conch, cinnabar, lac juice, copper powder, orpiment and lump black for artwork and decoration. Common pigments in ancient Indian wall painting. According to Agrawal, additional pigments used in ancient Indian wall painting includes red, yellow, blue, green, white, black. And now we have to see how the particular color were made by the ancient people. So, the source of the color and the mixing of that particular color is also described by the ancient scholars. Like for red, vermilion, red ochre, red lead is essential, yellow ochre, pulverized gold for the yellow, ultramarine, indigo for the blue, terre verte, malachite for the green, lime, chalk, kaolin for the white and lamp black charcoal for the black color. Ajanta murals 2nd century BC to 6th century AD painted on basalt using ferruginous earth mixed with sand and organic fibers with lime, kaolin, gypsum base. Pigments include red ochre, yellow ochre, lamp black and ultramarine bounded with organic mediums. Rock cut temples of Badami 6th-7th century AD. Murals applied to rough plaster on sandstone. Here pigments include red ochre, yellow ochre, terre verte and carbon lime bound by glue. Bagh caves early 7th century AD created on rough plaster with a fine layer of lime and gypsum. Here pigments like yellow ochre, red ochre, terre verte, carbon lime and lapis lazuli were used. Glue is used as a medium. So, again and again we found the example of gypsum and the different ochre color which and we found the evidence of lime and etc. These materials were well known to the ancient people, how they use it, how they plan it to just draw in a painting. So, this kind of information is really a part of scientific data, is really a part of scientific study of the ancient mindset and their performance on the basis of on the basis of the different paintings and the selection of that particular color is also very scientific. So, here is the you can see on the slide the picture from Ajanta, Bagh and Badami and the mixture of the color you can see different kinds of color is already seen, though the long time was already passed, but these colors are already existed till the present time. So, their knowledge regarding the color making process was really unparalleled to the contemporary world. Now, metalworking techniques and crafting of household objects and ornaments in ancient India. Metalworking. First example is repose technique. This technique was used to raise pattern in relief on metal objects by giving off blow on the underside while the decorated side rested on a soft surface like wood, lead or pitch. Goldsmith used lead or bronze stamp to produce identical relief pattern on annealed gold and silver. Second is filigree and granulation. Filigree involved soldering cut metal wires and granulation involved soldering small grains of noble metals onto a metal sheet to create intricate design. Shells, stones and gems were often inlaid into metal cavities to enhance decoration. Next is tool and instrument. Goldsmith used a variety of tools such as chisel, saws, knives, borer, drill, spatula and hammers to shape the decorate metals. Next is metal forging technique in the Harappan era. The Harappans utilized various forging techniques including hammering, chiseling, hammering through mandrel, raising, hollowing and sinking. Evidence show the use of cold working. For instance, Chanhudaro celt and hot working techniques from Mohenjo-daro bowl as well as annealing process for specific items like wire and celt. Joining techniques for vessel fabrication. Various methods for joining metals include riveting, lapping, soldering and running used for joining hilt to tanged swords, demonstrating advanced technique for creating durable metal object. Now, the example of house objects and ornaments. Materials and vessels. Most household objects, especially vessels, were primarily made of earthenware, ceramics and terracotta. However, similar shaped objects were crafted from metals like silver, copper, bronze and iron. Bronze vessels have been found at significant archaeological sites such as the Bhir Mound and Sirkap in Takshashila, with a distinct feature of having a round bottom and sides. Some metallic spouted vessel emerged only after the Satavahan period, indicating technological progress in metalwork. Waist and ear ornament. Waist ornaments such as mekhala, beaded waistband, golden belt and pure pearl string were worn by women, while men used kadi sut and ornamented string. For ornaments include earrings, ear plug and ear pendants, often made from gold, silver and precious stones. Bead string and amulet. Bead string crafted from gem, glass and metals were worn as necklace and bracelet. Amulets featuring religious symbols like the swastik and Triratna were used for protection and spiritual significance, often made from metals and gems. Artistic and functional significance. Ornaments were not only decorative but also symbolic, often presenting social status, religious belief and spiritual protection. Crafted from gold, silver, copper and precious stone, they reflect ancient India's rich artistic and metallurgical tradition. These items demonstrate the importance of personal adornment in both daily life and ritual practice. So, after the discussion related to the different colors of the painting after the discussion related to the different mortar, plaster, the different kinds of sculpture making process, and now we are moving towards the coin making process, which is also very scientific, and the whole process of this journey related to the art, related to the scientific management of color, related to the scientific management regarding the coin technology is also very important in terms to understand the whole scientific development throughout the years. Punch mark coin were small sheets or stripes punched on one side, while sophisticated die struck coins received impression on both sides. Dikshit found silver piece at Mohenjo-daro seen as precursor to late punch marked coins. Mukherjee linked these pieces to Indus cubical weight and a metallic currency system, with one piece bearing uniform script likely imported from Ur. Cut. Mukherjee linked these pieces to Indus cubical weight and a metallic currency system, with one piece bearing cuneiform script likely imported from Ur. The Rigveda and post-Vedic text reference metallic currency Nisk, Shatman, Rupya Rupa, Tamra Rupa, supported by archaeology. The Bhir bound hoard at Takshashila 1055 punch mark coin and the Chaman-e-Hazuri hoard in the Kabul area indicate the circulation of punch marked coin even in the 5th century BCE. Cast coin. The most advanced coin casting method was found in early Yaudheya mold fragments at Khokrakot 100 BC, featuring a central hole with radiating channels leading to 8 coin socket. Cast coin production in India declined after the 3rd 4th century AD. Repository coin were made by placing thin metal sheet over a stone or metal surface bearing a raised design and then carefully hammering them to imprint the relief pattern. Mukherjee provides an example of this technique with a repose gold coin of King Mahendraditta. Die struck coins, both side. At the start of the 3rd century BC, the metal smith of Takshashila, who had developed the die striking technique independently, recognized the superiority of Greek coins stuck on both sides and adopted this new method. This technology then spread across the subcontinent. The early gold coins of the imperial Guptas, known for their fine die stuck quality, followed the earlier Kushan tradition. Molten metal or alloy was poured into molds to create banks of specific weights. Negative impression of the design were engraved on 2 separate dies and the metal blanks were heated so slightly softened through annealing placed between the anvil die and the punch die, properly aligned and then hammered to imprint the design. So, we can see on the slide the different punching style is present in the different coins. You can see, which is visible on the slide right now. And now, metal and alloys in coins. Metal and alloys in ancient Indian coins highlight the evolution of metallurgical practices, particularly in the post-Harappan Chalcolithic culture. Archaeological discoveries have revealed that the post-Harappan Chalcolithic culture in eastern and peninsular India produced a variety of copper alloy These alloy included copper mixed with the other metal like tin, lead and zinc, suggesting a high level of metallurgical sophistication. Nagarjunikonda excavation revealed metal figures from the Ikshvaku period, late 2nd century AD. During this time, Nagarjun experimented with yellow brass as a substitute for gold. The Gandhar Mathura sculpture tradition significantly influenced the iconic art of the Gupta period. The Sultanganj copper Buddha marked the revival of India's icon casting tradition rooted in the Harappan era. Pre-Gupta coins from Gujarat also reflect this influence. A large gilt bronze statue of Brahma inlaid with silver from Mirpur Khas, Sindh, now housed in the Karachi Museum, is one of the earliest example of Western Indian sculpture closely reflecting Gupta artistic tradition. Beast and Jain found evidence of pre-Nalanda brass icons in India, including 7 standing Buddhas from East Nimar, Madhya Pradesh, dating to the 5th-6th century AD. Metallographic studies confirmed the use of the lost wax process for casting, with the brass containing 26 to 27% zinc, highlighting the early use of this alloy in ancient India. The Gandhar, Mathura and Amravati tradition influenced Gupta era copper, bronze and brass icons. The Gupta period is considered a golden age of metallurgy, producing gold coins. The iron pillar wood, steel and beautifully bronze and brass icon and beautiful bronze and brass icon. By the 6th 7th century AD, brass icon production thrived across India, with Huensang noting numerous brass icons of Buddha, Vishnu, Shiva and Surya. During the Gupta period, the Magad bronze tradition spread to Kashmir and a large Buddha was transported there in the 8th century AD. In the south, the Amravati tradition was influenced by the Satvahan brass work. Nalanda was also the hub for metallurgical and ceramic art and was known for smooth image of black slate. The art tradition further flourished from the 8th to the 12th century AD, centered in the Pala kingdom and spreading beyond its border. Metal image from this period, including Buddhist, Tantric, Jain and Brahmanical icons, reflected Gupta influences and were noted to their graceful lines, soft curves and expressive forms. So, you can see in the picture these type of art tradition just showing the perfection of art with the scientific parameter. Just see in the picture, there is different type of uh, face expression, the clothing style is minutely made by the minutely carved by the artisan. So, it shows the perfection of scientific parameters at the contemporary time period. So, on the basis of these whole explanation, we can say the archaeo materials of ancient India such as mortar, plaster, pigment, stone, metal sculpture, mural paintings, coins show the high level of skill and knowledge of early Indian craftsmen and builders. The use of lime and gypsum mortar in construction, strong plasters for building and natural pigments for art reflect a deep understanding of materials. Stone and metal sculpture from different periods display fine workmanship and artistic sense. Mural paintings like those at Ajanta and Bagh show careful use of pigments and well prepared surface. Ancient coin made of copper, silver and gold not only highlight advanced metalworking, but also give valuable information about trade, economy and rulers. Altogether, these materials help us understand the technology, art and daily life of ancient India and show its important place in the history of human civilization. So, on the basis of whole description, we can understand the scientific journey of ancient people in the contemporary period, because it is showing not only the metallurgical aspect of any scientific parameters, as well as it also showing their daily life understanding on the basis of the painting they made, on the basis of the different tools they prepare for their different metallurgical aspect. They made plaster, they made mortar, they made different kinds of coins. On the basis of the different technique, they made different kinds of coin, which reflects their complete understanding of scientific parameters in the contemporary time period. So, if we want to understand the scientific journey of any culture or any civilization, we have to focus on the every parameters what have done by the contemporary people in the contemporary time period. So, these kind of holistic approach can help us to draw a clear scientific picture of any culture, of any civilization. So, if you want to enhance your knowledge regarding this particular topic, you can consult these references which is present on the slide right now, and thank you very much for your patient listening. Namaskar.